Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the 8th annual Super Smash TV tournament here on GG Speedruns. Tonight, we have got an elimination showdown between Joeymittens and ETGoHAM. Hi, everyone. I'm LOZ Cards Fan 23, and joining me on the commentary tonight is the one, the only Bryce. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing all right. Excited to watch this matchup. We've got a returning player after a few years off. At this point, though, hopefully that rust that may have been there is shaken away in ETGoHAM. And we've got somebody who is in, I believe, their third tournament and just keeps getting better every year. This is the furthest Joeymittens has gone and is looking to punch a ticket to get within one more match of the money rounds, which would be an amazing accomplishment, giving the obstacles Joey's had to overcome.
I completely agree 100%. So here's how the two runners got to the position that they're in. In the last match, Joeymittens and Tapatio J once again battling each other out. And once again, it was Joeymittens taking it down in a 5-game thriller to advance to the third round of that second chance bracket. ETGoHAM took down the 4th annual champion, Dark Lord Gonzo, 3-1. The winner of this match will move on to take on the number 22 seed and your likely rookie of the year, J-Pop for life. The loser will be out. We're going to be down to our final dozen at the end of this match.
And don't let that seeding for J-Pop fool you. J-Pop has been steadily improving since the start of the tournament. Started sub 6 and has really been coming on strong. So whoever comes out of this will have their hands full. But that'll be a heck of a match.
Oh, they most certainly will indeed, Bryce. But we got a great match coming your way here. Now, you look at the PBs, ETGoHAM has roughly about a 30-second advantage if you look solely on that. But the way that Joeymittens has been playing in this tournament so far, I think we're going to be in for a barn burner. So Bryce is going to get these two runners underway here in this best of 5 showdown. These runners, as you mentioned, Bry, are getting very, very close to advancing to the money rounds. We've got 4 players left in the winner's bracket. We have 8 in the second chance bracket. 4 of those people will advance to the money rounds. So here we go.
And it appears that we will have a doubleheader for you Monday night, it seems. Don't have a time on that yet, but we will have our first of the money round matchups, CHX and Telio 1, and we will have a Mr. Dino Sigma Fan vodcast matchup coming. And they're underway here, and I don't think either one's doing the manips, so we'll see how this goes.
Absolutely. You know, you're talking about a new manipulation that we kind of discussed during our last match with Space Colonizer. It seems like he had it down to a science. As his last 3 games, he was able to get that first drop orb in collect power-ups. But as you mentioned, doesn't look like either of these runners went with that manipulation here. So they're just going to let the dice roll and hope for some good drops here in collect power-ups. ET with the whole shot.
Well, according to Space Colonizer, as you said, who had gone for that manipulation, Joey started it but had a fail in the manipulation, so had to cut it off, and maybe that's why the time was a little lower than it should have been.
Definitely, indeed. We've got rockets, though, for Joeymittens, so definitely the better drops. ET's got the spreader, and then he's got a nuke, so he'll try to utilize that perhaps as far as he possibly can. Nobody's going to ignore it.
It would have been hard for him to use that nuke. Oh, Joeymittens gets clubbed down and will be forced to pick up a grenade coming out the door. That's a double whammy.
Oh, it most certainly is indeed. It's a 126 for ET, so definitely not the most glamorous of times we've seen coming out of this room as Joeymittens gets a late Razor Shield, but already tick, 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 tick. He is a dozen seconds back, and ET gets an orb early here in Eat My Shrapnel. That's what you want to have to try to keep this room under control.
Yeah, keeping this room under control, there are 18 Mr. Shrapnel. That's the red enemy going along the outer edge of the room. If you have 4 on screen, no more can spawn. Ham drops his orb. That's a shame right there.
Oh, it most certainly is.
And you also need to kill all the swarmers as well. So if you come in without the firepower, this room can overwhelm you and start wasting your time. You can go as low as 42.5 seconds, but you can go a lot higher. 211 for Ham out of the room.
All right, so does have an orb on his screen.
Apologies, I'm having a little bit of issue with the shared connection from our administrator. I'm
Okay,
back
so
now.
it wasn't just me. I thought it was me there for a moment. But any event, we're here in total carnage and still no orb replacement for ET. Joeymittens has kept the orb nice and healthy up to this point, and now he's got some rockets coming his way. ET with a razor shield will protect him for a little bit, but when you don't have that orb, you need weapons to keep that razor shield floating as long as possible. Joeymittens still doing a good job.
I will say that Ham's last piece of that shield broke off nicely, took out a full door of enemies. That shield can be a weapon, but yeah, you don't want to be using it as a weapon. That means your orb is not, living at that point in time.
More rockets for Joeymittens. More rockets to close the room, and he's going to have a full complement just about going into tank trouble. And he's taking the lead with the 325. ETGoHAM is now 4 seconds back with the 329, and still no orb.
And hey, coming in with 2/3 of those rockets, Joeymittens can definitely clean up the gunners on the wall, could even take out the shrapnels if he wants to be safe, or just really pound on those early swarmer enemies. Going to be a good early setup for Joey. Let's see what Ham's going to do coming in with nothing.
Yeah, he's going to need some kind of good weapon here. Joeymittens has a nuke. And, he drops the orb.
Great drop for ETGoHAM. Gets the rockets, able to clean up. And look at the presents. They just keep coming.
Yep, that was a tennis-served orb right there. As Joeymittens lost the orb, ET got it back. And I think we're going to see a lead change again, Bri. This keeps up.
The rockets keep showing up for Joey, though. He might be in good enough shape to hang on. And look at this. Rockets in the middle of the room.
Definitely, that's what you want to have if you're not getting an orb, because with rockets without the orb, you can actually make good use of them with good firing lanes.
He was a little heavy-handed on the firing just to get back to the middle, unfortunately, because he stepped out of the middle with the rockets. I'm not sure what was going on. That orb's going to be a tough get for Joey. Let's see what he can do with it.
Oh, and he's got to watch out for the shrapnel, too. Nice dodging there, but it is an ETGoHAM lead of 442, and Joeymittens not going to be all that far back. He's got a 450. That's 8 seconds. That's about one empty drop.
That was a 12-second swing. Ham coming in with a little bit of spreader. I like this choice. Just focus on the gunners. You won't get much out of that spreader. And going to get the lobber here. Both gunners down. What does Joey get? A lobber as well.
All right, let's see if ET can get the ball buster. Doesn't look like it. Nope. Joeymittens might have an opportunity here. Let's see if he can nail his ball buster. And yeah, no, not quite.
Came flying out of the body. If you don't see it coming out of there, you know that it probably hit. And if you see the shake of Mutoid Man, you definitely know.
There you go. So neither player getting the ball bust here, and they both have arms popped off, but ET with his second arm popped off has the lead.
And for those wondering, the ball buster is a bit of a glitch to deal some damage with your option, your orb. If you hit parts of his body where sprites meet, for some reason it deals 420 points of damage.
Yep, or 42% of a full form right there, as weapon advantage right now to ET as Joey just got an empty drop. Now a spreader chance, but he could be blocked. He could be blocked.
It's gettable. Not now.
He's
no,
blocked.
It's not now.
4, 3, 2, 1. Same level 1. And
same level 1 indeed. We're in game 1, and that's our first block of the day.
Yep, you do not like to see that, but unfortunately, Joeymittens not getting a weapon to really take advantage of the lost spreader chance for ETs. He's now on final form. ET needs another weapon or two, and they both get empty drops. This is bad for Joeymittens. He needs a spreader now. No, but another empty drop for ET.
I was just going to say that when you pick up that invulnerability, you don't want the next drop to be the spreader. You want the drop after to be the spreader.
Exactly. Right now, ET looking good with these lobbers here. If he can land all his shots, the game will be his, and it is.
Not exactly a time you'd want to be looking for, but ETGoHAM will take our opener here on Joeymittens. It's going to be a 658 or so, maybe a little lower. Yeah, look at that. 657, 656.
Yep, respectable there for ET after getting off to that very, very rough start, losing that orb early in Eat My Shrapnel, and Mutoid Man mostly went his way. Joeymittens just could never take the lead in that fight. They kind of had the same weapons in the early phases, but then the weapons really dried up on Joey's side and just could not recover. A 23-second win for ET.
You know, sometimes it just doesn't line up for you. The big one was coming in with those rockets and having that orb, and Joey dropping that orb in the start of Tank Trouble just really, really cut down his ability to just hold his lead. And yeah, the weapons didn't line up for Joey to make the comeback. So 1-0 ET go ham.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely had opportunities there, did Joeymittens, and you're right. The dropping the orb early there in Tank Trouble, and ET getting his own orb to take a decent lead into the Mutoid Man fight. And you don't lose games with arena gameplay, but you could certainly really get yourself behind the 8 ball, and that's sort of what happened with Joeymittens there.
Yeah, these types of things will happen, but let's see if Joey can bounce back. Let's see if ET can have overall a better arena play. Both had some issues going through the regular arena, and you don't win in there. But man, you don't want to be trailing out of there. You want to be 430 or under for where these guys are at.
Yeah, absolutely right there, Bry. So game number 2 coming up shortly between Joey and ET. Bryce Self will be getting these two runners turned loose very shortly here. We'll see if Joey can tie up this best of 5 match, or if ETGoHAM can take a commanding 2-0 lead in the series.
And it's a big game here for Joeymittens. You don't want to be trying to win 3 on the trot. You want to get this back to even Stevens, and you want to get this down to a best of 3.
Yeah, very difficult to come all the way back from 2-0 down. It has happened a couple of times in this tournament already, but as you mentioned, you really don't want to be in that position. So it would definitely behoove Joey to get that victory. We'll see if he can pull it off. Here we go. Game number 2.
So right now, Joeymittens is going for the manipulation to try to force a first drop orb in the next room. We'll see if he nails it down. Meanwhile, ET going with the more traditional approach, hold the middle and just smash away at the enemy.
A chance for a nuke here if ET can time this right, and yeah, he got it.
Oh, Joey almost died at the right door. That was a shame there. A very high 40 versus a mid 42. It sounds like Joey missed the manipulation.
Yeah, because you want to be out of there at about 41 to get the manipulation there. So it does sound like he's missed it. We'll see, though. Yep, it's a foot. ET gets grenades. Nothing to write home about for either player.
Second drop, though, not too bad for Joey. Meanwhile, rockets for ETGoHAM.
So I guess it sort of worked for Joey. He got a second drop orb, ET getting the vitamin R. Now let's see if Joeymittens can keep this orb healthy. It's kind of dancing around quite a bit, and those swarmers are getting a little bit too close to this orb, and you really don't want that happening in a room like Collect Power-Ups. Joeymittens has been dangerously close to losing that orb in this room.
He was a little too wide on his wiggles there to try to keep the firing lanes covered with the movement of the orb. Some people have been saying you don't really need to do that. That's how I started when I played, but the wiggle does work once you get the timing down for it.
That's a 6-second lead right now for ET as they both have their orbs now in Eat My Shrapnel. So let's see if ET can make the proper adjustment. It's so far so good.
Speaking of the orb manipulation, I see 3 Creepio is also in chat, another player and person who I believe was involved in, workshopping this, and they're working on finding a better setup for it. So we'll wait and see what the future holds there. It's going to be about a 207 for Ham out of the room, and this should be it for Joey. So 213, still 6 seconds.
Yep, they had even rooms right there, so the lead is the same for ET as we go into Total Carnage. Let's see if the drops a first drop Razor Shield for Joey. Can he get to it? He does.
Yeah, wise decision. Shot the shrapnel, made sure to get there safely. You don't need to risk your orb to pick that up. Just make sure you're safe. Get it after.
Yep, and good dodging of the grenades there as well for Joey. Meanwhile, ET not...
He takes a shrapnel!
A shrapnel! And that's going to give the big opening that Joey needs to take the lead here in this game. Down 1-0 in this best of 5 match. 3/5 of the Razor Shield left to go. Hasn't really gotten a weapon to complement the orb since getting that Razor Shield, but he's kept control of the middle. He's kept his composure, and as long as he can keep that up. Oh, and ET makes another mistake, and he gets a 3rd orb.
Wise decision there. He killed the enemies nearby before picking it up. It's going to be a 3-14 for Joey out of the room, and despite all those errors, Ham only loses 11 seconds.
Yeah, he's trailing by 5 seconds, and that could have been a lot worse. You are right, Bry.
It's weird to say losing only 11 seconds. And hey, why don't you give us some product placement to get us out of the way here?
Oh, Taco Bell, product placement with Taco Bell. I think that's a good idea. Have the Baja Blast and don't drop the Chalupa. Big drop here coming up for Joeymittens. It's an invulnerability, can ignore the bullets at least, but not great.
Not ideal. Meanwhile, a Razor Shield for Ham, pretty solid. You can do a little bit of work. Invulnerability as well. Getting awfully close to that shrapnel, but he somehow evaded it.
Joeymittens still has the orb, but he's kind of getting pushed into a corner, trying to get the second gunner out, and somehow dodges away from those bullets back to the middle. Nice moves there from Joeymittens, but ET loses his orb, and so does Joey.
Joey goes down. Oh no.
Ah, man, that's rough. Just when it looked like he had things under control, it went out of control just like that. And that's just the nature of tank trouble, because the spawn rate in this room is equivalent to any spawn rate of an Arena 3 room. And if you've ever played normal or hard, you know exactly what you're up against. And because of that, oh, no, I thought that was the end of the room for ET. It is still a Joeymittens lead with a 439, a PB chance if he can get a solid Mutoid Man fight in, Bri.
Yeah, he definitely has a shot, and it's about a 7 to 8 second lead here as Ham is in to the Mutoid room. Opening drop here for Joey is a lobber. Pretty good location, just able to take out those gunners nice and quick.
And not only that, he waited for the swirl before picking up that lobber so he could get rid of the swirl and not have to deal with it while shooting the lobbers.
Oh, Ham goes for the lobber and he steps into the bullets.
Oh, a mistake there, but this is the opportunity for Joeymittens as he's got the first arm popped off, but then gets sabotaged with grenades.
And Ham gets sniped again, trying to step around the bullets.
Could it be a spreader for Joeymittens maybe? Nope, it's a lobber, but that is good consistent damage. He'll keep his lead. Rockets for ETGoHAM, which is slower damage per second here. So right now, the second arm popped off for Joey. Now he's got grenades again with the faster DBS, and here's a spreader chance.
Both.
Oh, but he could be blocked. He is blocked. 4, 3, 2, 1. Same level 2, and ET is going to take the lead, I think. No, they're tied. And it's an empty drop for Joey. ET, he gets blocked too.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Spreader for Joey. He won't have much invulnerability. Have a little.
And he retakes the lead as he's got the rib cage exposed. He's trying for another one. I don't blame him. Let's see what he gets.
Snipe on Ham. Ham gets a lobber. Joey gets nades. It's a very tight one here in game number 2.
Oh, absolutely it is. What's going to happen? It's rockets and no more weapon for ET. He's looking for another spreader, and he's got no lives left. It's about a 5-second penalty if he takes a game over. That could come into play. Head pops off for Joey. Head pops off for ET. Anybody's game, but weapon advantage right now for ET.
Definite weapon advantage. Doesn't get the refill on the lobber. Let's see. Next one's nades. They're high DPS, but they run out quickly. Lobber now for Joey. Final form ET gets rockets.
Final form for Joey and has the weapon advantage at the moment. Spreader, the worst weapon in the final form for ET. I don't know if it's going to be enough. But empty drop though for Joey. The game is going to take it away from him. ET's going to have enough on the spreader, I think. Yes, indeed.
And then Joey gets run over at the end. I do see a question. Why do they kill themselves when the spreader shows up? It's just simply to keep you safe when you are trying to do the spreader weapon exploit or glitch on Mutoid Man. Plain and simple.
The game steals it from Joeymittens, and ET down by 7.5 seconds, wins by 8.25 seconds. About a 16-second swing there in that Mutoid Man fight. Yikes. That blocked spreader right there, and then empty drops following that up. Mutoid Man does what Mutoid Man does best, take victories away.
I mean, ideally, just going back to the spreader question, if you could, react perfectly frame for frame, the best thing to do would get that spreader and just do it manually, as we call it. The problem is, Mutoid vibrates two ways on every damage shot taken. It's really difficult to go and deal enough damage with that spreader without dying in the process. So that's why we take the death if we can.
Yeah, most certainly indeed. And yes, it is tough to react. And Joey, if you would have reacted a little bit quicker, he might have had a better shot. But again, that block right there just opened the door for ET to take the lead. They continue to go back and forth, but the final form Mutoy Man decided no way Jose to Joeymittens, and ET now in a powerful position.
Very much their cards. I've got them underway momentarily here. 2-0 ETGoHAM. Joeymittens now has the unenviable task of trying to win 3 on the trot, but as you know, I always say you're not winning 3 in a single race. You got to win 1 race to get the next one. So right now it's not to win 3, it's to win 1. That's all you can do.
That is correct, Brian. We'll see if Joeymittens can make the comeback happen. Here's they both have the Razor Shield, and it looks like Joey's not going to go after the manipulation this time.
I guess deciding 2 fails was enough now. Maybe just trying to focus up, really be on point. Well, we'll see how it plays out. Ham has been very solid in the opening room. Joey, meanwhile, trying to use the nuke. Gets it, nails it, beautiful.
Absolutely, and he is going to have the hole shot coming out of this room for the first time. It'll be a respectable high 40 for Joeymittens, and ET a mid 43, so roughly 2.5 seconds is the advantage for Joey to start collect power-ups. Let's see if the game can reward him with some goodies. A foot, not really.
Foot is an okay drop, but the next one means a lot. Razor for Ham. Invulnerability for Joey, that pairs well with the foot at least. So that was in the right order if you're going to get those two to open.
Very good. So Razor Shield, a spreader for ET now, looking for another weapon. He's got a grenade waiting for him if he wants to try to fish for an orb. He's like, nope, I want to keep control of the middle of the room, and gets rewarded with the spreader, but Joeymittens with some rockets.
This should help Joey finish out the room, you would think. And yeah, as you can see, despite that, because that foot with the invulnerability is a decent drop in that room.
It most certainly is indeed. And you know what? He actually gained on that lead as we start Eat My Shrapnel, but neither player has an orb yet, Brian, until now.
A bit of a scary grab, but well done by Mr. Ham, getting the first orb.
Yeah, knowing that the orb was going to spawn at 2 o'clock, he could grab that orb, but it is still scary because you get too close to that Mr. Shrapnel, pow, you lose it.
Mr. Shrapnels have been known to have wonky hitboxes on occasion.
Here's an orb for Joey, and he definitely needed to see that because he was starting to get a little bit overrun here in Eat My Shrapnel, so he should be fine now.
Oh, Joey steps around that shrapnel piece, maybe a little closer than you'd like, but no problem, no damage, and into total carnage we go.
5-second lead for Joeymittens, 207 plays, 212, and let's see what the opening drop is. It's a dude versus a spreader, advantage ET.
Spreader's nice and all. It doesn't increase your kill rate really, but it gives you a little extra coverage if it's okay.
But here's Joey getting the Razor Shield, and he's back to the middle, so he should have good opportunity. Keep control of the middle of the room.
Shrapnel piece got through Joey's Razor Shield, but luckily it didn't hit him.
Yeah, we've seen that happen before in tournament play, and it is never a good feeling. Here's the Razor Shield for ET, but picked off.
Gets shrapped. And another death in total carnage for ETGoHAM.
Yeah, this has not been ideal gameplay in Total Carnage for ET in this series so far, but Joeymittens in a little bit of trouble.
That was close. There was a little kiss from a grunt there. Oh my goodness.
That was a close call. It's a 3:05, his best time into the bonus room yet.
Orb
Rockets and an orb.
Orb on the feet for
Wow.
Mr. Ham again, and you know what? He's hanging around.
Hanging around. Absolutely. It's a 10-second lead now for Joey, but that could have been a lot worse. ET getting the Holy Trinity just at the right time.
So about a 10-second difference here as we head into tank trouble, maybe a little more.
Let's see. Not a good opener there for Joey. It's a foot and loses his orb immediately.
Man. Yeah, that opener is really tough for a lot of players. If you don't get a good drop, they're not quite sure what to do with it. Another Razor Shield to open for Ham. Very solid drop to open.
Absolutely. So advantage right now to ETGoHAM.
I mean, it shreds over half your shield generally getting rid of those gunners, but it is worth it. Just to get rid of them, then you have so many less things to worry about. You got shrapnels, tanks, grunts, and you don't want to add 2 more sets of bullets to that.
All right, and there's a spreader now for Joey. Now he's got a replacement orb, so he could mitigate this time loss if he can keep it healthy the rest of the way. ET losing his orb late in tank trouble, and so did Joey. He lost it again.
Not a fan of that choice by ET, just deciding to go out after that extra life. Really an unnecessary adventure.
Wow, and he got away with it because he just got a replacement, as unfortunately Joey will not be able to get the shrapnel done in time. 4:37 versus a 4:41. It is a 4-second lead now for ETGoHAM. He gained 14 seconds in that room and has an opportunity at the ball buster, looking to sweep this match, Bry.
Looks like a missed ball buster. Joey, meanwhile, gets a spreader on the wrong side of the room to take a death. We'll have to try to manual this spreader. Ham gets grenades.
Got a couple shots. He'd like to get some more. Got a couple more.
Got a couple more, but then he's sniped. Yeah, those gunners make it tough.
Yeah, and it's an empty drop, but ET's really done nothing in this fight. There's lobbers for Joey, so that's nice. Lobbers for ET as well. More lobbers waiting for Joey. He's just going to pick him up right now as he's got the first arm popped off. He currently has the lead, but ET is right there.
It looks like back and forth we go, but really,
second arm.
Ham's just been kind of stuck in.
Oh, but here's another spreader.
Gets a good shot at this, and Mutoid is lining up. This means so much with that long of a walk. Spreader as well.
Yeah, very good for Joey. This is anybody's game as the rib cage is exposed on both players. It's a glitch toid on ET side. And head pops off for Joey. If he gets a spreader, it could be a PB.
It is a spreader, but it's delayed and it's in the corner, so he won't be able to do much with that invulnerability. He is landing some here, and he dies here. Will not be able to get that spreader.
Final form.
Oh boy. Oh boy, Joey needs some weapons, needs them now.
Yep, final form should be coming soon for Joey, but it's a lobber for ET right now. Wild movement on Mutoid Man for ET. Will this be enough to finish the job, or is he going to need another weapon? He's missed too many shots.
So many shots. Rocket versus lobber. Ham gets run over.
Will this give Joey the opportunity to take this one away? No, it's gonna be ETGoHAM. Another close race that does not go Joeymittens' way, and ET sweeps it 3-0. Mutoid Man playing favorites tonight, Bryce Holt, and all 3 games it went ET's way. A 5-second defeat. You hate to see it if you're on Team Joeymittens, but ETGoHAM with the clean sweep will be moving on to the next round of the second chance bracket. He will take on J-Pop for life.